Now joining us in the studio to discuss the new fuel tax is Dr. Mahmoud Hassan, a former CBN director with over 30 years in financial regulation and policy, has served with the African Union Commission and sits on several boards, including the African Finance Corporation, and is a member of the reconstituted Daily Trust Board of Economists. Good evening, sir, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's dive right in. What is your take concerning the federal government's approval of this 15% import duty on petrol and diesel?
Yeah, okay. I think if we take it on the merit of it, and the underground statement to the policy was the fact that the government is trying to protect the domestic refineries and also to protect domestic farms that are producing PMS. So if you look at it from that context, yeah, it is good to discourage importation of the finished product so that the transfer costs, the transfer inflation, all that will not come with the increasing prices. Also putting that tariff will mean the landing price of the imported product will not be competitive compared to the local one. Don't forget there's also the exchange rate margin that is there. There's all the logistics, the freight and all that. So if you build in those costs into it, the landing price will be a lot higher. So that will discourage the importers from bringing it because their price will not be competitive, they will not be able to sell. And so the local ones will be able to now invest, attract more capital, and then be able to produce locally, which will save us our forex for the importation, also create jobs locally, and also the linkages to that sector, other supporting sectors that benefit from that process will also strive. That is one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is that for long as this protection is available and these tariffs are imposed to discourage importation, there's also the need to provide other prerequisites that is required for security of supply. Other infrastructure facilities are required for whether it's Dangote, whether it is modular refineries, whether it's the small refineries that you have around. They need to have the transportation logistics to be able to deliver to the end users. They need to have the roads. They need to have security to protect their equipment and all that. If those are not provided, and this tariff discourages the foreign or the importers from bringing in this product, one, what we'll have is scarcity. However, if these guys are still able to import with that high price, don't forget that the importers will transfer the price to the end users. So if these local producers do not have this other prerequisite for them to be able to produce effectively and sustainably, then this transfer price will come to the end users, and at the end of it, the normal or the day-to-day consumers of this product will be the ones to suffer, because the only alternative available will be to use the imported product, and that price is already transferred. Dangote is there, and so this fear may not be very valid for now if Dangote is also allowed to, produce to meet the domestic requirement. What we saw from the dramas that happened in past periods where local suppliers insisted that they don't want to take from Dangote, they want to get importation. The government also opened the window for anybody that wants to import to import. It's a free market. So you see those complex issues on ground. If those are not curtailed or tamed appropriately, the policy may be counterproductive. So yes, it is good to protect the local industry, but we should also provide other things that will enable the local industries to produce, including the regulatory efficiency and transparency in the implementation. Implementation should also not be covered by waivers and all exceptions. So the customs and all the authorities that are in charge of implementing that should also be very, very transparent and accountable in what they do.
All right, amazing. Based on your explanation, it's a good initiative, but then this particular policy is drawing mixed reactions amongst Nigerians. Why do you think it's so? Because Nigerians are saying at the end of the day, they're always at the receiving end when such policies are being, brought forth for the nation.
I think that the mixed reaction is valid from both sides of the equation. We've seen before now, everybody was clamoring that when Dangote comes on stream, problem of petroleum is gone, prices are going to be very liberal and all that. Dangote came on stream, the next thing was that it's a monopoly, is going to be fixing the prices. Government came on board and said, oh no, you cannot sell, you cannot sell at the exchange rate value. You need to get the crude in dollars, but you're going to sell the products in all those things came up. So at the end of it, the end users are the ones that suffer those prices. But we saw competition coming in. Other suppliers are coming. Dangote was going. There was a time Dangote was cheaper. NNPC and others also reduced their prices. That's the merit of competition. However, when there are no regulations or regulators are captured and they are not able to efficiently look at this complex scenario and be able to apply the regulation or the laws or the modus operandi of that process, then you start seeing things falling apart. So for those that are concerned that yes, this may end up impacting on the end prices of the product, it's valid. And for the government on the side that yes, we're trying to protect domestic producers to be able to enable them grow and invest in their product and get return for it. Yeah, it's also valid from the other side. But like I said, it's not only the tariff that would discourage those guys from importing. If they import and they know that they can transfer the price to the end users, of course they will continue to import. So those that will suffer will be the end users. So it's important that the regulators, the customs, the implementers of all these processes are also abreast with this sequence, so that you don't have the end of it. Because I also read recently there's also a tariff on fuel, even though the chairman of the tax reform has said that that will come next year. But you see all those small prices add up to that, and at the end of it the prices of the end product will be higher, and this will also impact on central bank inflation and other issues that are on ground. So I think the mixed reaction is valid, but I think the government and the regulatory authorities also need to explain very well to the people, to enable people to understand, and also manage the market expectation around the end users of the product.
Based on the government's comment, it says that it's a bridge and not a burden. Now, from your perspective, what exactly does that mean? And do you think Nigerians really see it that way? Let's hear from you. Maybe you're going to give Nigerians a bit of, a little hope tonight.
Well, from the government perspective, yes, it's a bridge. From the end users, which everybody has his own independent opinion on that, it's going to be, anticipated to be a burden. And if the narration I gave is efficiently monitored, such that the local producers are able to produce, other requirements for them to be able to effectively produce are available and made available to them, then definitely it's going to bring down lower prices, because all the costs around logistics, freight, and all the insurance that will be paid from transporting it from abroad will be taken away. So you will see that going off the end price. So at the end of it, it will be a relief for the domestic economy. Hopefully.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mahmoud Hassan, for joining us tonight and giving us an insight of what Nigerians should expect concerning the new tariff. We're grateful.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.